How are you tonight?
I am doing very well, thank you. Yeah, very
What
excited
part of
to
the
chat with you.
what part of the world are you am I talking to you from?
I am in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, so you're getting also soaking rain as well, right?
Yep.
We are
Had the
getting
joy of walking out in the rain today, so
yeah, exactly. So I'm getting soaked too. I'm in Westchester, New York. So
okay. Yep. We're in the same boat then.
yes.
As long as
What's
it's not snow,
well,
I'm
yeah,
happy.
I like snow, so but I understand. It's easier as rain.
Well, I'm really excited to chat with you,
Same here.
because I know you've had a long career in, my favorite genre of music, rock music. So
Yes, I've been very grateful and that I'm still doing it, and I get to. Yes, I'm very grateful to have this career that I've had.
yeah, well, I have to ask you, how is it revisiting old songs? Because I know you recently released demos from the attic. So
Right.
when you come across these old songs, is it kind of like stepping back in a time machine?
100% time capsule moment. So, yeah, I sometimes when you look back like at old pictures, especially from the 80s or another part in your life, you either cringe, you're like, wow, what was I thinking? What was I wearing? Or sometimes you're like, wow, that was pretty cool. So with these, recordings that it's been 30 years, enough time has gone by that they were kind of nostalgic. So it was actually pretty cool. I mean, there were some things that were cringeworthy, but most of the stuff that made it to the demos from the Attic CD were things that we really were like, wow, this is cool. So it was actually nice. And it was definitely a step back in time, no question about it.
No, I really love the music, and for me, that time period of music is always timeless. What do you think makes like 80s and 90s rock so special? Even
Well,
70s, I have to
no,
say,
it's
even
70.
70s.
I agree. I think that it's a good question, and I think that when I guess for we're not kids, so you grow up with music that comes into the soundtrack of your life. Like for me, the late 70s, like music is really, I remember that was my first like wow rock and roll experience. Then of course I lived through the 80s as a 80s musician, so my God, it's like part of my being at this even now. So I think that the era gets into your like soul and your and listen, most of those memories are good. So I think you look back on those memories and musical, you know, the musical memories, I guess. I don't know what you call them, but the music triggers a memory, and then it brings you back to a time when life was maybe simpler and less hectic, and I don't know, seemed better, and because we were younger, I'm not really sure, but a happier time, a fun time. So that's why I think that it's so nostalgic. That's my feeling.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you've heard of some of these newer bands coming out that are kind of um, bringing back that authentic rock sound, like Dirty Honey.
I
They're
have,
from California.
I like Dirty Honey. They're great.
Yeah, and some people are on the fence about Greta Van Fleet.
It's so funny, that's so funny you brought them. I like them, and they remind me of all the classic rock bands like Rush, Meet Zeppelin,
Yeah,
and the singer from that band, I think, reminds me so much of the singer from Tora Tora. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Tora Tora.
it sounds familiar.
They're like a late 80s, early 90s kind of bluesy hard rock band, but from
Huh.
that era, but not really of that genre. But this very, I mean, if you go listen to them, you're gonna hear it sounds like Greta Van Fleet. So in a cool way, it's like they were inspired by that. Not like a ripoff. It's a cool inspirational thing. So yes, I agree with you. Greta Van Fleet is definitely pulling from all the classics, which is cool.
No, absolutely. I've seen them in concert and they're extremely talented. So,
No,
I have to give them props.
I've not seen them, but people I know who I trust, musicians and friends have said they were like blown away, and they look cool. They wear the cool clothes. They're definitely throwing it back, which
Yeah.
is I think is I think it's cool, and they're young, so I think it's very cool. And another band of that sort of vibe is the Struts, who are bringing it back
Oh,
to like
I actually just saw them a few weeks ago in Boston. They're so
right.
much fun live.
That singer is like an old school like rock and he also encompasses so many of the old 70s 80s rock and roll frontmen, like he just wears makeup, he looks like a rock and roll guy, so I think, and they're great, so I Yes, I think those three bands are really doing a great job carrying the torch of like rock and roll forward.
Yeah, actually, I found out about the Struts a few years ago through Def Leppard, Joe Elliott,
Oh, really?
because he said in an interview that the Struts were one of his new favorite bands.
Oh,
So
that's so cool. Yeah, that is very cool. Someone mentioned it to me, just like Dirty Honey, and I went, what's what's nice in today's world of technology. Someone says, "Hey, have you heard of this?" And you just go and you have every song they ever had. So I like that part of the streaming world, and so I listened to both. I like Dirty Honey. Very
yeah,
bluesy, kind of Bad Company, rock and roll, cool stuff.
yeah, and so live music is coming back, and I know you have some upcoming shows with Steve Augeri Band.
Yes, yes.
How is it getting back on stage again?
It's been great. We had a very busy summer. I think people were, so it's been great. That's all I can say. It's been great. And it's definitely been different. The summer was very busy for us. It was almost like, everyone got vaccinated and it was almost like, let's make up for lost time. I mean, as busy a summer as we have ever had, which was great. And then all of a sudden, like, people were like, okay, I guess COVID is still here. Some people in our camp, it came up, and then other shows. So it's definitely it's still there. So it's but I think every show you play is you're grateful for, and you hope that it all happens. And if it doesn't, you're like, okay, I understand why it didn't happen. Like several shows in this past month got pushed to 2022 already. So that we noticed a little bit of that, but we have a few more shows on the books for the rest of the year. So we're always excited to play and travel. It's always whenever we can, especially after the pandemic.
Yeah,
You appreciate how much like wow, this is a really a gift we get to do this. So it's we're grateful. Let's put it that way. I guess that's the answer.
yeah, I was gonna say it. I think a lot of people have become more appreciative of
Correct.
you know what we're able to do at this point, and
Right. And then if so therefore like in the beginning you were like, wow. So like example, if a show gets postponed or rescheduled, no one even flinches because like, okay, it's sort of the new norm. It's for a minute you're like disappointed, but you realize it makes sense. So you just have to take each week. Are we traveling? Is it going to happen? Did something happen? So that seems to be like the almost the week before. You're like, is the show going to happen? And then so that's a little bit different. Sort of, there's not that feeling of like everything. The schedule's solid. The schedule could change at any moment. That's a little bit different. But like I said, if whatever we get to play, we're grateful to play it. And so
yeah,
sorry,
and
you had
well,
this a lot of my phone is stomping around upstairs. I hope that's not coming through.
oh, I didn't even hear
Okay,
it.
cool. I'm like, what is going on out there? Sorry about that.
Yeah, all I hear is the rain coming down on my
I hear
window.
that too. That is happening. I was just checking my basement. I'm like, I hope there's no water coming in. So far we're okay. So
And kind of going back to the demos from the attic, so you
sure,
released two songs so far, Heart of
correct,
the City and Sandy.
right.
What was it about these two songs that you chose as singles?
Good question. And we liked Sandy because we went first with it was very pop, like a pop. Valentine had like a poppy side and maybe a little heavier side. Like we're a rock band, but we definitely lean towards that AOR pop thing. So we felt Sandy was like just a great song that really would have been a single if it just sounded like a single. It had that very singy chorus, about love and a girl. And it had good music. Everyone, it was not even like a question of which one to go first. Everyone, it was unanimous. That's the one. So it was just a good pop rock song, really represented like Valentine, we felt. And then we wanted to follow up with Heart of the City, which is a little longer, a little darker, a little different side, a little more guitar, oriented, and just show a couple of things that we had the chance. It's nice in this period of time where you don't have a label that's sort of, well, shit, we have a label involved, but my point is you don't have like we need a radio single, the video, it's different. You can decide what you want to put out. So those were the reasons we did those two songs. And the collection of songs is sort of a range of all those things in between. That's why we felt that was kind of a good spectrum.
No, I thought they were good
Well, thank
choices
you.
as well. Yeah, like
Thank you.
Sandy's very melodic,
Right.
kind of feel good,
Right, exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. It makes you feel good. It's light. It's good. Yeah. And Heart of the City is a little bit like a little bit, about the grungy side of the city, which I get.
Yeah.
Not that it's a unhappy song, but it's not as happy as Sandy. So
Right. No, I get what you mean. And
right,
what's
right.
next for you
For me,
or the band as well?
well, the three of us in Valentine, we play with the Steve Argiri band, so we're always keeping busy, and we're there. We're just finishing up over this pandemic. We recorded a Steve Argiri record. It's a Steve Argiri record, but we all contributed to it. So that's in the final phases of being mixed, and we're gonna. There's one more song we're gonna actually. We didn't finish yet, so that but that should be soon. We're not really rushing it, but that will be coming. That's what we've been working on, and you know, the Valentine been doing a lot of great press for the Valentine CD, which has been so much fun because I love it. It's so much. It's so nice to talk about this stuff. I can't believe people want to talk about it. It's such a cool. It is nice. It's fun. So, and then what else? We're always writing new music. You know, we don't know. You know, and then Hugo. I want to say Hugo plays. So here's the funny part. Valentine has like this bizarro separate Journey connection. So we play with Steve Algeri from Journey. Hugo, who looks a lot like Steve Perry, plays in a very popular Journey tribute band called Voyage. They're very successful all over the country. So all of us are keeping very busy playing this Journey catalog, but not together. But we all are still very close and talk all the time. So it's a kind of funny thing that we had. We always wonder how did this Journey thing happen. But either way, we're all playing Journey music separately. But you know, that's what keeps us busy. So the Steve Algeri band is our busiest thing, and then Gerard, myself, and Craig are always working on something. You know, we never, you know, riding away for whoever, whatever we're gonna do, whatever would happen with it. So,
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. It's good that people are keeping busy
and I
after
started
this
a
COVID.
podcast. I started my own podcast over. Actually, I forgot to mention that I have a podcast as well, which is called Band Forever. I started that over the pandemic, so that keeps me busy. I'm always editing away at something like that. So,
Oh yeah. That's
yeah,
awesome.
make
Yeah,
sure I
it's
send
great
you into
that
that. Yeah.
yeah, no, I think podcasts became a good way for people to stay connected and stay sane during the
Well, I thought
pandemic.
so. For me, it was something I've always wanted to try, so I just tried it, and I think that I enjoyed was two things. I enjoy the technical. I love recording. I love to produce the audio. I love edit. I love editing audio. Actually, I could do it for hours and hours. So I do that. And then also, I feel there are people like me who have been in the industry for decades or whatever it is. Maybe not only decades, but who are not like famous, but are working and touring and traveling, or have had some deal, have been on some show or a book, who have interesting stories. And I know personally, I mean, I have about 20 of those episodes just already, people I know before I even went to the outside world. So I just thought it was cool to document these things. And so I was something I wanted to do for those two reasons. So
Oh, have you spoken with Steve Lukather? I feel like he would tell you so many stories
Steve
about the
Lukather, I have
industry.
not. I just read his book though. You know that I read
Yeah,
his
his
book.
book is amazing. I
Holy
love it.
moly! Talk about. First of all, I was a fan of his before I even read the book. He's always been known in the guitar community as one of the top. There is no question about it. And his book was just you knew some of the stuff that he did, but you didn't know the dirt of it. Not even the dirt, the details of how
Yeah.
this led to that and this led to this. That was great. And I also listened to he was on a podcast called No Guitar is Safe, which talked about the book, and it was so he would be great. I would love to have him on. Yes, he
Yeah,
would.
how he's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is beyond me, you know.
Well, you know, and that's what a lot of his book was talked about. How Toto never got they were on every hit record you could imagine. They never got the credibility or the respect. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of pop bands
Oh,
that
yeah.
don't get the respect, but have sold gazillions of records. So, but yes, he would be a wonderful, wonderful guest. So
Oh, yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
try and get him on there. Yes.
I would love to hear you guys talk.
Thank you. I look forward to. I can't wait to let you know that I had that one. So
Yeah, right. That would be awesome. Well, I always like to ask people, um, being a concert fan myself,
yes,
what's the best concert memory you have as a fan? Because I'm sure you've
fan.
been to a lot of concerts growing
There's
up,
no
but
question. I think. I mean, I've been to a lot of hard rock concerts. Obviously, the Kiss. My first Kiss concerts were just obviously life changing. But as I grew up too, I mean, there's so many. But seeing Pink Floyd for the first time, even though Roger
oh,
Waters wasn't in the band and it wasn't The Wall, whatever that the Delicate Sound of Thunder.
Hmm.
The sound, I was just like, I couldn't believe, it was one of the most incredible sounding, like, it was just something about that concert, just like, was so captivating. Believe it or not, Madonna's Blonde Ambition tour, I never forgot that tour. Just the spectacle was incredible. And seeing Van Halen reunited when they came back, I don't know, was that the 2000s, whatever that first David Lee Roth tour with Van Halen, whatever that was,
Hmm.
I don't remember the year, but that, those, off the top of my head, those three come to mind. Those really, I just, you know, because I was always a fan of Van Halen, and of course saw them in their original form with David Lee Roth. I saw them with with Sammy Hagar too. All and Gary Sharon, I'm a huge fan. But somehow seeing Dave back in the band when they were a little more mature, I don't know, something about it just was like, it was so like, it was so cool to me.
Oh wow, those would have been awesome concerts to attend, man.
And I took my kids. I said, "We're going." When, like, you know, my sister took me to see Kiss when I was younger. I took my kids to see Van Halen. I'm like, "This could be. I don't know if this is going to happen again." I said, "This is a history lesson." They were like young. I'm like, "We're going to see Van Halen." I said, "Just pay attention." Then, you know, I got them earphones. You know, so
Well, I bet
that's
they're
how.
glad they went now.
Yeah, no, they are. They like they saw David. They were like, hey, they knew they saw Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth together. So yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely an awesome one. I didn't get to see any of those, unfortunately.
What about you? That's a good question. How about you? As a concert girl, what are ones that you come to mind?
Okay, well, for classic rock bands, I've seen Def Leppard with Styx, and I
That's
think
great.
I can't remember if Tesla was also opening
I
up for
think so.
them.
That's a band that just gets better and better, right?
Yeah, no, they
They're
were
good.
awesome.
They're better than they were
Um,
when they were huge. They're maybe more huge. It's amazing.
I did see Toto a couple of times, and they put on a
Oh
good
wow.
show.
I've never seen them. I wish I might see them if I have a chance again. I'm now going to see them for sure.
Yeah, I. It's a shame that they are only known for Africa, but because they,
I know. No, I love the Minefields. I love all the later records. And my former tour manager, who unfortunately is no longer with us, toured with Toto for like one of their, you know, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. And I just should have went. I don't know what you know, I'd run into him on the road once in a while, but we never went to a show. Foolish. That was a foolish mistake on my part. So I'm going to see them.
I did see a bit of Deep Purple in concert.
Oh wow.
They came to Boston a few years ago, and they had a pretty cool opener too. They're called Joyous Wolf.
Oh
They're kind of
wow.
like a newer band from California.
That's so cool. That's Deep Purple is cool because it's the original band, but they have Steve Morse as on guitar, right?
Yeah,
He's he's one of my favorites. So that's a great. And I think they may have gotten better with Steve Morse because that's how because Ian Gillan is still fantastic. You know,
yeah, that was. They had a lot of energy at that show.
they
It
do,
was
and they're not
awesome.
young guys. They rock.
Yeah,
They still do. They're still rocking. They're still going.
yeah. Same with Red Hot Chili Peppers, like Flea. He's
I know.
incredible shape for his age.
Yeah, he's literally like he's right. He's still ripped and running around, jumping around like a maniac. Good for
Yeah,
him.
he was like jumping so high. I'm like, I can't even do that.
I couldn't do it ever. And these guys, and he's like super skinny and like ripped and like with his shirt off. God bless him. Hats off to him.
Yeah. So yeah, those are some of the better concerts I've been to recently.
Cool. And now being are you from the Boston area?
I'm originally from Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
but
have
I've
to
been
say,
in Boston for a while now.
I
So
don't know
I
if you knew like the Boston scene, like you know the Aerosmith, Extreme guys, all those Boston guys. I don't know. It's
yeah. Yeah, unfortunately I missed Aerosmith when they did a free concert a few years ago. They performed outside of their old apartment.
oh wow.
Um yeah, they put on like a free concert and unfortunately I missed it.
Oh,
That would have been awesome.
that would have been awesome. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate your time chatting with me, Adam.
My pleasure. Thank you. Good questions. I appreciate them. They were definitely they were different, and I like that because you know sometimes you get the same old questions. So
Oh yeah. No, I'd
I
like to
like.
keep it like a conversation, you
No, it was
know.
good. They were definitely.
Just
I appreciate that. Very
two
good.
music fans chatting.
Yes, awesome. And same here. I could talk all day about this stuff. I love it. So I
And
enjoy
oh,
doing
any
this.
plans to come to Boston actually?
You know, not at the moment, but that doesn't mean we're not. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Usually
well,
at this time of year, believe it or not, this time November, December is when we start to get our calendar for 2022. So I hope that we do.
yeah, I'll keep an
We
eye
usually
out
get
for
up.
sure.
We usually get up that way at least, you know, every once in a while. So I hope that we do.
Yeah,
And if
definitely.
I do, I promise I will let you know.
Oh, cool. I appreciate it. Thanks again.